Welcome back to English from A to Z. Has you ever paused to truly consider what separates those individuals who achieve extraordinary things, who seem to bounce back from every setback stronger, more determined from those who, despite their best intentions, often falter or maybe get stuck in a cycle of struggle? It's a question that permeates so much of our personal and professional lives, really. Today, we're not just touching on it, we're launching a deep dive into this very question, pulling powerful practical insights from an audiobook titled How to Think Like a Winner Every Day Daily Motivation Audiobook. And get this, it's not about some elusive luck or an innate, unchangeable talent. What we're exploring is something far more accessible, something profoundly within your control. The way you think.
It's fascinating, isn't it? And quite empowering, really. The core argument in this source material is that winners aren't simply born, they are meticulously shaped, forged, you could say, through a series of intentional choices, deeply held beliefs, and crucially consistent daily habits. This isn't just some feel good mantra, it's presented more like a blueprint. This deep dive, it's designed to illuminate precisely how individuals can transform, how they move from maybe mediocrity or quiet desperation to one of consistent mastery. And it's all through small, consistent, deliberate steps. The path to remarkable success, it suggests, is less about singular grand gestures and far more about the quiet, often invisible power of sustained intentional effort, day in, day out.
And that's exactly why we felt this material demanded our full attention today. Our mission is to go beyond just surface level inspiration. We're going to unpack the actionable strategies, for cultivating unshakable confidence, for not just surviving challenges, but actually rising above them. We'll look at designing powerful habits that inevitably propel you forward, and perhaps most crucially, for silencing that insidious inner voice of doubt that holds so many people back. Our goal for you, our listener, is to help you unlock that unstoppable, resilient, and purposefully driven version of yourself that, as the source insists, already exists within you. Imagine what could shift, what could become possible if you truly understood and harnessed that latent power.
Yeah, this isn't just about getting a temporary surge of motivation that, let's be honest, often fades by Monday morning. This deep dive aims for something much deeper, a fundamental transformation, almost like a rewiring of your brain to instinctively view life, its opportunities, its inevitable obstacles through the lens of a true champion. We'll explore the psychological underpinnings of why this perspective isn't merely beneficial, but absolutely critical for achieving and maybe even more importantly, sustaining long-term success. It's about building a mental operating system that defaults to growth, resilience, and possibility. And these principles, well, they can profoundly alter your approach to pretty much every facet of your existence.
All right, let's jump right into the core of it then. Because the source makes an absolutely unequivocal declaration right from the start. Everything, and I mean everything, begins in your mind. This isn't presented as some abstract philosophical idea. It's framed as the fundamental foundation of all achievement, the battlefield where all victories are truly won or lost. It's not out there in the world somewhere. It's squarely within you. Your beliefs, your thoughts, your prevailing perspective, these aren't passive observers. They are active architects, constantly shaping and constructing the reality you experience. It's a profoundly simple concept, yet kind of staggering when you really think about it. It sets the stage for everything else.
And if we connect this to the broader psychological landscape, this concept moves far beyond the abstract. It really compels us to recognize that our internal landscape, our mental maps, our self-narratives, our expectations directly dictates our external experience. Your mental framework isn't just a passive recipient of events, it's an active, powerful constructor of your world. Think about it. If you genuinely believe something is insurmountable, your mind almost subconsciously starts filtering for evidence to support that belief. It effectively shuts down avenues for success, sometimes before you even take the first step. But conversely, if you approach a challenge with an unwavering belief in possibility, your mind immediately shifts gears. It goes into solution seeking mode, actively scanning for pathways, resources, alternative approaches. It becomes a kind of self fulfilling prophecy driven by your initial mental stance, which just illustrates how foundational this internal positioning truly is.
Yeah, and this brings us straight to a crucial distinction the source highlights. It uses this brilliantly simple yet incredibly vivid analogy. Imagine two individuals standing at the base of a formidable mountain. One looks up, surveys the steep ascent, the rocky terrain, and declares, "This is impossible. The peak's too high, the path looks too treacherous, I'll never make it." They see an insurmountable wall, period. The other person standing right beside them, looking at the exact same mountain, says, "Wow, this will undeniably be hard. It's going to test me, but step by step, I will find a way to reach the top." For them, it's not a wall, it's a climbable challenge. And the difference between these two isn't their physical strength or their climbing gear or some inherent talent. It's purely their mindset. It's whether they interpret that obstacle as a definitive endpoint or as an essential, maybe even exhilarating part of the journey itself.
Precisely. And psychologists, as the source points out, have explored this distinction in depth. They label them the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. A fixed mindset, as the audiobook explains it, is rooted in the belief that your fundamental abilities, intelligence, talent, even personality traits, are innate. They're set in stone, unchangeable. It's that belief that you're either born smart or you're not. You're naturally talented or inherently clumsy, destined to win or fated to struggle. And this mindset is incredibly limiting. It's almost like a self imposed prison. Because when faced with difficulty or criticism, individuals with a fixed mindset often just give up. They interpret the challenge as proof that their innate ability isn't good enough, rather than seeing it as a temporary hurdle. It breeds defensiveness, a fear of failure. On the other hand, you have the growth mindset. This is characterized by the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed, nurtured, expanded through dedication, persistent effort, and crucially, a willingness to learn. For someone with a growth mindset, failure isn't an endpoint, it's invaluable feedback. It's a crucial data point, a stepping stone on the path to mastery. And this raises a really fundamental question, one the source keeps posing to the listener. Which mindset genuinely empowers you to persist, to learn, and to grow, especially when you're facing daunting challenges? The answer becomes pretty clear when you consider the profound long-term implications for your resilience and your capacity for achievement. It's about consciously choosing to believe in your own, malleability.
And what truly brings this concept home in the audiobook are the powerful examples, almost legendary stories of individuals who just embody this growth mindset. Think of Thomas Edison. He famously responded to questions about his thousands of failures in inventing the light bulb by saying something like, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His perspective completely reframed every setback as vital data, not a sign of personal inadequacy. Or consider Michael Jordan, widely seen as one of the greatest athletes ever. He was actually cut from his high school basketball team. Imagine the fixed mindset response to that. But Jordan used it as fuel. He practiced relentlessly, believing he could develop. And then there's Oprah Winfrey, who was explicitly told early in her career that she wasn't fit for television news. Think about that. These aren't stories of just instant, effortless success. They're profound narratives of relentless persistence, of learning from perceived failures, and holding an unwavering belief in their capacity to learn, adapt, and ultimately transcend.
It's a sobering thought, isn't it? Imagine if any of those titans of industry, sport, and culture had just succumbed to a fixed mindset. The world would have been irrevocably deprived of their immense contributions. Their stories serve as these powerful, tangible illustrations of resilience that wasn't simply inherited. It was meticulously forged by that unwavering belief in their capacity to evolve, learn, and adapt, especially in the face of monumental setbacks. They didn't see their struggles as proof they weren't good enough. They saw them as necessary, maybe even inevitable, steps on a long, tough journey toward their vision. And this perspective is absolutely vital because real innovation, groundbreaking achievements, personal mastery, they rarely, if ever, just happen on the first try. It's this iterative process driven by a growth mindset that ultimately leads to extraordinary, sustained success.
The source also uses another particularly evocative analogy to sum this up. It says your mindset is like a lens through which you view the world. If your lens is dirty, everything looks cloudy, obscured, and often impossible. But if you take the conscious effort to clean that lens, you suddenly begin to see opportunities everywhere. It makes the point that this isn't passive. It's an active daily choice to maintain that clarity.
That really highlights the profoundly proactive nature of cultivating a winning mindset, doesn't it? It's not about just being positive in some superficial way. It's about actively choosing, intentionally cleaning, and consistently maintaining a perspective that empowers you to engage with challenges constructively. A dirty lens, well, that represents ingrained cognitive biases where our brain, almost without conscious input, selectively filters for information confirming our existing doubts or limiting beliefs. So, cleaning that lens is an active cognitive discipline. It's about deliberately seeking out alternative interpretations, consciously challenging those automatic negative thoughts, and expanding our perception beyond those preset filters that might be holding us back. It's like ongoing mental hygiene that, over time, significantly impacts your internal operating system.
Now, this is where the rubber truly meets the road, where these powerful concepts translate into tangible, immediate changes for your daily life. The source doesn't just leave us hanging in theory, it immediately offers actionable steps. The first one, maybe the simplest yet most profound, is to consciously shift your internal dialogue from "I can't" to "how can I?" This isn't just playing with words. By simply rephrasing, you immediately transform what feels like an insurmountable wall into an accessible door. You redirect your mental energy away from defeatist pronouncements towards active solution-focused inquiry. Instead of shutting down, you open up pathways for genuine problem solving.
That linguistic pivot is, as the source emphasizes, a powerful cognitive hack. I can't acts like a mental dead end sign. It immediately closes down possibilities and disengages your brain's creative problem solving centers. Conversely, how can I acts as an instant prompt. It engages your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for planning logical thought. It basically signals to your mind, okay, a solution exists, your job is to find it. This reframing isn't just about optimism, it's about activating the very neural circuits required for innovation and overcoming obstacles. It literally changes the question you ask yourself, and in doing so, changes the answers your brain generates. It's quite remarkable.
Another incredibly potent and accessible tool the audiobook champions is the practice of gratitude. And it's not just a passing mention. The source positions it as a daily, non-negotiable mental exercise. The recommendation is simple. List 3 specific things you are genuinely grateful for each morning. Could be something profound like the health of a loved one, or as seemingly simple as the warmth of your morning coffee, or just the ability to wake up and breathe. The key is specificity and consistency.
Right, and this is where the source goes beyond the generic feel-good aspect of gratitude. It actually touches on the neurobiological effects, explaining how consistent gratitude practice can, over time, literally rewire neural pathways. When you actively practice gratitude, you stimulate the brain's reward system and increase the production of neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, crucial for mood regulation and feelings of well-being. So this doesn't just shift your focus from lack to abundance, it's a physiological recalibration. It trains your mind's default mode network to reduce rumination and threat detection, and instead orient towards areas associated with reward, positive social connection, and proactive problem solving. This essentially makes your brain more receptive to identifying opportunities, more resilient against setbacks, and more prime for sustained positive action, rather than just trying to avoid negativity.
And finally, there's a deceptively simple yet profoundly impactful exercise. Adding the word "yet" to any negative statement about yourself or your abilities. So instead of declaring, I'm not good at this, you consciously append, I'm not good at this yet. It's such a small, unassuming word, just 3 letters, but it instantly opens this vast door to growth. It acknowledges your current state without defining your future, and it explicitly invites future possibility. It reminds you that your present capability is not your final destination. So when we pull together these initial insights from the source, the core takeaway is crystal clear. Your mindset isn't some fixed, immutable characteristic you're born with. It's instead a dynamic, malleable muscle that you can and frankly must actively train. It's about making a conscious choice for persistence over perfection, for growth over stagnation.
Exactly, and that's the fundamental decision point, really, in every moment of your day. Will you choose to yield to fear, doubt, and negativity, allowing them to dictate your potential? Or will you consciously, deliberately choose to think like a winner? This isn't a one-time declaration. It's a fundamental decision that shapes every subsequent action and reaction, ultimately leading to vastly different life outcomes. It empowers you to view every challenge not as an external barrier, but as an opportunity for internal strengthening.
Okay, so if that winning mindset is the indispensable foundation, then the source meticulously details how habits are the crucial, tangible building blocks that transform that vision into concrete reality. The audiobook makes a stark, almost undeniable assertion. Your life today is a direct reflection of your consistent habits yesterday, and by extension, your life tomorrow will inevitably reflect the habits you diligently cultivate starting right now. It's a powerful and sometimes uncomfortable truth, isn't it? Yet it holds the key to incredible personal agency.
What's particularly fascinating here is the emphatic emphasis on consistency. The source presents consistency as the true differentiator. Many people, and maybe you, our listener, might overestimate the impact of grand singular gestures, those bursts of intense effort or dramatic New Year's resolutions. But they profoundly underestimate the quiet, almost invisible yet immense power of small, repeated actions. Success, as the source rigorously highlights, it never materializes overnight. It doesn't just appear in a sudden flash of brilliance. It meticulously accumulates one tiny, deliberate action at a time, compounded over time. This means focusing on the daily, sometimes mundane acts is far more impactful than waiting for some monumental burst of inspiration or a sudden, dramatic, and often unsustainable life overhaul. It really is the relentless drip that carves the stone.
Yeah, the source doesn't just talk about habits. It illustrates their power by examining the winning routines of successful individuals across various fields. Think about elite athletes. They don't just train when motivation strikes. Their success is built on a non-negotiable daily regimen of practice, recovery, nutrition, regardless of how they feel on a given morning. Consider prolific writers. They don't wait for the muse. They show up at their desk consistently, committing to a daily word count or a set amount of time. And successful entrepreneurs. They understand that a thriving business isn't built on one brilliant idea, but step by step through consistent effort and problem solving, even when no one else is watching, or when those initial results are minimal. It's this unwavering daily discipline, the source argues, that truly sets them apart.
And this connects directly to the idea that sustainable success isn't about waiting for inspiration to strike. No, it's about cultivating disciplined action, designing your environment and schedule so that the desired behaviors become the default. These high-achieving individuals don't merely rely on sporadic motivation, which is notoriously fickle, right? They rely on established routines, often non-negotiable, that ensure continuous progress irrespective of their fluctuating emotional states. This structured approach provides a robust, predictable framework for sustained effort. It makes success far less dependent on transient moods and far more on engineered, consistent behavior. It's the ultimate act of self-reliance, leveraging systems over fleeting willpower.
The audiobook then meticulously outlines 5 essential daily habits that winners consciously integrate into their lives. And these are incredibly practical, designed for immediate implementation. The first is the morning ritual. Winners intrinsically understand that how you initiate your day profoundly sets its entire trajectory and tone. Rather than immediately succumbing to the digital distraction, social media, email, they carve out dedicated time for clarity and focused intention. And this isn't necessarily about some complex 2-hour routine. It could be as concise as 10 minutes of quiet meditation to center themselves, or engaging in mindful journaling to clarify thoughts and intentions, maybe a quick burst of exercise to energize the body, or simply a few moments of silent reflection to calibrate their internal compass. Even 10 minutes of this mindful preparation can dramatically shift your energy and focus for the entire day, setting a proactive rather than reactive tone.
Which raises a profoundly important question for you, our listener. How exactly are you setting the tone for your day? A mindful morning ritual, as the source highlights, is a proactive, intentional choice. It can significantly shift your internal energy, sharpen your mental focus, and reduce the likelihood of feeling overwhelmed by external demands later on. By taking control of your initial internal state before the external world inundates you with its urgent, often distracting requests, you effectively establish a mental anchor. It allows you to approach your tasks with greater intention, heightened awareness, and significantly less reactivity. It's a foundational act of self-governance, really.
Okay, moving beyond the morning, the next crucial habit is the power of planning. Winners don't just drift aimlessly through their days hoping for some spontaneous surge of productivity. No, instead, they strategically create a roadmap. They meticulously set priorities, distinguishing between what is merely urgent and what is truly important, and then they focus their precious energy on the tasks that genuinely move the needle. The source offers a profoundly simple, yet highly effective practical application here. Each morning, write down the 3 most important tasks, the ones that, if completed, would significantly advance you towards your overarching goals, and then commit with unwavering resolve to finishing them. No distractions, no detours until those 3 are done.
This habit isn't about just being busy, is it? It's about optimizing for effectiveness and impact. Planning ensures that your valuable efforts are meticulously aligned with your long-term goals. It proactively prevents that insidious energy drain that comes from endlessly engaging in low-impact or irrelevant activities. It forces you to engage in critical prioritization, compelling you to direct your finite time, mental resources, and willpower towards what will authentically propel you forward. This counteracts the modern-day tyranny of the urgent, ensuring you're not merely reacting to incoming demands, but proactively shaping your day and, by extension, your destiny.
The third essential habit is the habit of learning. The source emphasizes that true winners are perpetual, lifelong students. They actively cultivate curiosity. They engage in continuous learning through various channels, diligently reading books, consuming insightful podcasts, enrolling in courses, consistently seeking out new knowledge and skills. Why is this so vital? Well, because the world we inhabit is in a state of constant, accelerating evolution. To remain stagnant is essentially to fall behind. Genuine growth, therefore, inextricably requires continuous adaptation and expansion of one's intellectual toolkit. It's really an investment in future relevance.
Indeed, the world is in a state of relentless, often dizzying evolution. It makes continuous growth not merely beneficial, but an absolute prerequisite for staying ahead and remaining effective. Feeding your brain with new ideas and perspectives, even for just a focused 15 minutes each day, isn't just a pleasant pastime. It's a profound investment in yourself. This consistent intellectual nourishment, it compounds over time. It transforms into a lifetime of accumulated wisdom, sharper critical thinking skills, and enhanced adaptability. It actively keeps your mind agile, receptive to novel approaches, and continuously expand your capabilities, which is absolutely crucial for maintaining a competitive edge and fostering innovation in any domain.
Number 4, and this is one that's often overlooked in the pursuit of success, is the discipline of health. The audiobook powerfully reminds us that your physical body is the primary vehicle carrying you through this journey of life. Winners inherently understand they cannot consistently perform at their peak, sustain their mental clarity, or endure long periods of effort if they neglect their physical well-being. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean training like an Olympic athlete every single day, but it fundamentally entails consistent, respectful care of your body through regular, moderate exercise, balanced and intentional nutrition, and sufficient restorative rest. It's about optimizing your internal engine.
This habit critically highlights the holistic view of winning that the Source champions. It underscores that peak performance is an integrated mind-body endeavor. Neglecting physical health directly impacts mental clarity, emotional resilience, sustained energy levels, all of which are absolutely crucial for maintaining a winning mindset and executing on your goals. Even small, consistent steps in prioritizing your health, choosing a nutritious meal, taking a brisk walk, ensuring adequate sleep cumulatively build a powerful physiological and psychological foundation. It supports all other aspects of your life, from cognitive function and problem solving to emotional regulation and overall well being. It's a non negotiable investment in your most valuable asset.
And finally, the fifth essential habit is the evening reset. Just as a mindful morning ritual sets a proactive tone for the day ahead, a deliberate evening ritual intentionally closes the chapter on the day just passed. Winners don't simply crash after a demanding day. They take a few moments to mindfully reflect. What went well today? What valuable lessons were learned? What opportunities are there for improvement tomorrow? Crucially, they use this time to prepare for the next day, ensuring they wake up with an inherent sense of clarity and purpose, rather than that feeling of being perpetually behind. This could be as straightforward as quickly jotting down tomorrow's 3 top priorities, or simply practicing a final moment of gratitude before drifting off to sleep.
An evening reset, as described in the source, is a powerful act of intentional closure. It serves to prevent the insidious accumulation of mental clutter and unresolved thoughts from one day bleeding into the next, which can severely disrupt sleep and create anxiety. By consciously disengaging from the day's events and setting clear intentions for tomorrow, you essentially declutter your mental workspace. You prepare your mind for genuine rest and rejuvenation. This ensures you wake up with a renewed sense of clarity and focus, rather than feeling perpetually overwhelmed by the carryover of yesterday's undone tasks or unresolved stresses. It's a crucial habit for sustained mental well-being and consistent productivity.
Now, this is where it gets particularly insightful, because the source immediately offers a vital warning. It explicitly cautions against the common mistake of attempting to overhaul everything at once. That, it states, is a well-trodden recipe for inevitable burnout and subsequent abandonment. Many people, fueled by initial enthusiasm, generate this overwhelming list of new habits, only to find themselves utterly exhausted and defeated within a week or two. The source really understands the psychological reality of change.
Yes, and this insight raises a critically important question about how to achieve sustainable long-term change. Winners, as the audiobook meticulously explains, don't chase after some elusive ideal of perfection. Their unwavering focus is squarely on consistent progress. The powerful analogy of drops of water over time filling a jar perfectly illustrates how seemingly insignificant small habits consistently maintained gradually and imperceptibly build immense momentum. The strategy is to begin with one, perhaps two, foundational habits. Master them meticulously until they become ingrained, second nature, and then, and only then, gradually introduce another. This creates a ripple effect of positive transformation that is far more likely to last and compound over a lifetime. It's the gentle, persistent current that carves the canyon, not the sudden, violent storm.
And crucially, the source acknowledges the human reality. Yes, you will have days where you slip, days where you feel a profound lack of motivation, where sticking to your routine feels like an impossible burden, days where you might even miss a planned habit entirely. That, it assures us, is not a sign of failure, but a normal, predictable part of any long-term journey of growth.
The profound key here, the source emphasizes, is persistence, not an unrealistic expectation of perfection. When you inevitably miss a day, when you stumble or fall off track, The winning response isn't to descend into self-recrimination or to abandon your efforts entirely. Instead, it's about quickly acknowledging the lapse, resetting your intention, and simply getting back on track the very next moment. What fundamentally matters is the overall direction you're heading and the sustained momentum you're building, not an unblemished record of flawless execution. It's the unwavering commitment to return to your chosen path, even after a stumble, that ultimately distinguishes champions.
So for you, our listener, here's a direct challenge from the source. Identify just one small habit, singular, manageable, that you can genuinely commit to starting today. The audiobook provides incredibly accessible examples. Perhaps it's simply drinking an extra glass of water first thing in the morning, or committing to reading just 10 pages of an insightful book, or making the conscious effort to list those 3 daily gratitudes. Do not, under any circumstances, underestimate the power of that initial spark, that tiny, consistent act. Therefore, the overarching takeaway from this section is profoundly clear. Winners don't passively wait for motivation to miraculously appear and propel them forward. Instead, they proactively build robust foundational habits that consistently generate and sustain that motivation, creating an internal engine for relentless progress.
Absolutely. When your habits are meticulously structured and consistently executed, motivation often ceases to be a prerequisite. It becomes, instead, a natural consequence of your actions. It's a powerful feedback loop. Success, as the source unequivocally states, is never truly about what you manage to accomplish once in a while in some sporadic burst of effort. Rather, it is fundamentally about the discipline, often quiet accumulation of what you commit to doing and what you consistently execute every single day.
Moving on, every single winner we've ever studied, every individual profiled in the source, has faced an array of obstacles, setbacks, moments of profound adversity that, quite frankly, could have completely broken them. Yet they didn't merely survive these trials. They unequivocally used those challenges as leverage, as an impetus to rise even higher, to become stronger, more insightful versions of themselves. It's this powerful, almost alchemical reframe of adversity that, according to the source, truly changes everything about their journey.
What's profoundly fascinating here is precisely that reframe. Challenges aren't presented as formidable deterrents to be avoided at all costs. They're positioned as essential catalysts for growth and transformation. The source uses vivid imagery. Just as diamonds are meticulously formed under immense pressure deep within the earth, and just as muscles only grow stronger when they're pushed beyond their current limits, our character, our resilience, our true capabilities are forged and strengthened only when we willingly confront adversity directly. This perspective views hardship not as an unfortunate random event, but as an indispensable, maybe even necessary part of the growth process, a potent force for developing genuine, unshakable strength.
So the core message isn't about wishing for a life free of problems. That's an unrealistic fantasy, right? It's about recognizing that life will inevitably throw curveballs, but your capacity for winning is entirely determined by how you respond to them. The champion's mindset dictates that you don't merely react to these challenges, you actively embrace them and integrate them into your growth narrative.
This is an absolutely critical distinction the source makes. It meticulously dives into the nuanced ways winners approach adversity. First, winners master the art of reframing failure. While most people instinctively perceive failure as a definitive ending, a sign of inadequacy, winners consciously choose to see it as crucial feedback. Think back to that classic quote from Thomas Edison, remember? When questioned about his thousands of unsuccessful attempts with the light bulb, he didn't say, "I failed 1,000 times." Instead, he articulated, "The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps." This profound perspective instantly shifts failure from a crushing ending to crucial, actionable feedback. It meticulously transforms a perceived setback into an invaluable lesson, an essential piece of data that actively propels you closer to eventual success. This mental shift from judgment to learning is utterly fundamental. Secondly, and equally important, winners fiercely control their response. It's an empowering truth. that while we often have little to no control over what external events happen to us, we possess absolute sovereign control over how we choose to react to them. The source explicitly warns that succumbing to panic or self-pity or frantic emotional responses merely drains vital energy. It initiates a self-defeating downward spiral that just robs you of agency.
And this raises an incisive and highly practical question. When adversity strikes, are you focusing your precious mental energy on simply lamenting the problem, or are you immediately pivoting to actively seek out solutions? Champions, as the source delineates, consciously channel their energy into the empowering question, what's the next best step I can take right now? By doing so, they decisively maintain forward momentum even in the most turbulent circumstances. They possess a deep understanding that dwelling on the uncontrollables is a profound waste of valuable mental and emotional resources. Instead, they rapidly pivot to actionable steps they can immediately take, thus reclaiming their power and agency. Thirdly, winners strategically use challenges as fuel. For them, obstacles aren't barriers but powerful motivators. There's an internal mantra that seems to emerge. If it's hard, it's unequivocally worth it. If it's rigorously testing me, it's a clear sign that I am growing. They find profound meaning, a sense of purpose, right in the very heart of the struggle itself.
They possess an almost alchemical ability, really, to effectively transmute pain into purpose and frustration into unwavering determination. Challenges for these individuals become tangible, undeniable proof of their evolving strength, resilience, and expanding capacity. This type of sophisticated inner dialogue transforms what might otherwise be crippling adversity into a personal growth laboratory, a mental and emotional gym where every difficulty is perceived as a deliberate opportunity to rigorously strengthen their resolve and significantly expand their capabilities. It's a deliberate, powerful act of internal self-direction.
Fourth, the source clearly states that winners stay resilient through robust support systems. No genuine champion, no truly great achiever ever succeeds in total isolation. They actively lean on their coaches, collaborate with their teammates, seek out wise mentors, and draw strength from their wider communities instead of retreating into isolation during times of hardship. This communal aspect is critical.
This point profoundly highlights the critical, often undervalued role of environment and community in fostering true resilience. The source argues that isolating ourselves during periods of intense hardship is inherently detrimental. It cuts us off from essential perspectives, emotional support, practical assistance. Conversely, actively seeking encouragement, leveraging external perspectives, and engaging with a supportive network is consistently identified as a hallmark of unwavering resilience. It's about cultivating the wisdom to discern when to ask for help and intelligently leveraging the collective strength of those around you.
And fifth, winners consciously focus on the bigger picture. When you're caught in the eye of a storm, whether it's a professional setback or a personal crisis, it often feels all-encompassing, endless, overwhelming. But winners possess the mental discipline to come out, to gain perspective. Their internal narrative shifts too. This current difficulty is temporary. This is just one chapter, a challenging one perhaps, but it is emphatically not the entire story of my life. They staunchly refuse to permit a temporary setback to define their entire narrative or long-term potential.
This ability to deliberately maintain perspective, to consciously connect present struggles to a future vision, is what profoundly fuels perseverance through intensely difficult periods. It's a powerful mental tool that prevents individuals from becoming overwhelmed, paralyzed, or emotionally engulfed by the immediacy of pain or the scale of the obstacle. By keeping your eye firmly on the ultimate prize, on their overarching purpose and long-term trajectory, they are able to navigate the turbulence without losing their way. It's the strategic use of foresight to overcome current limitations.
The source offers a truly profound and inspiring example of this unwavering mindset in action. Nelson Mandela. He spent an unimaginable 27 years in prison, enduring unimaginable hardship and injustice. Yet rather than succumbing to bitterness or allowing his spirit to be broken, he used those decades to strengthen his resolve, to educate himself, prepare for leadership. And ultimately, he emerged with a vision of unity and reconciliation for his nation, seeking peace instead of vengeance. His journey is perhaps the ultimate testament to the transformative power of this mindset.
His story is, without hyperbole, a profound, almost sacred illustration of transforming unimaginable suffering into an unshakable source of strength. He took hardship and transmuted it into a legacy that transcended his personal pain, reshaping an entire nation. Mandela embodies the ultimate champion's mindset, demonstrating how even in the most extreme, dehumanizing adversity, a powerful internal frame of mind can not only ensure survival, but also lead to profound, world-changing growth. He viewed his incarceration not as an end, but as a crucible for his leadership, a time for reflection and hardening his resolve for the immense tasks that lay ahead. It's an example that truly resonates with the core message of the audiobook.
So for you, our listener, the source offers these three powerful, actionable questions for the next time you inevitably face a challenge. They encourage you to ask yourself, what valuable lessons can I truly learn from this experience? What's the very next small, tangible step I can take right now, in this moment, to move forward? And crucially, how will facing and overcoming this specific challenge ultimately make me stronger, more resilient, and more capable in the long run? Ultimately, what this section reveals, what this deep dive means, is how you can proactively shift your identity. Shift from being a passive victim of your circumstances to becoming the active, intentional master of them.
And critically, the source emphasizes that winners don't allow challenges to completely steal their joy. They actively cultivate the ability to find reasons to smile, to appreciate small victories, maintain an internal wellspring of positivity. They understand that this very positivity is a vital fuel for sustained persistence. The lessons painstakingly gained from navigating and enduring life's inevitable storms last a lifetime, meticulously building an indomitable character that transcends transient external conditions. They realize that while the storm outside is undeniably real, so too is their inner light, and protecting that light is an integral part of their winning strategy.
The audiobook then moves to a section that, for many, is the most intimately powerful. It makes an incredibly direct and resonant statement. The most important conversation you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. This isn't just a cushy phrase. It's presented as a foundational truth. Your inner voice, that ceaseless stream of thoughts, judgments, narratives, is perpetually active. It's either meticulously building you up, affirming your capabilities, fueling your potential, or often insidiously tearing you down, sowing seeds of doubt and undermining your efforts. This inner dialogue, the source asserts, directly shapes your entire life experience.
And if we expand this to the broader psychological architecture of success, it underscores the profound interconnected link between your thoughts, the words you use internally, the actions you subsequently take, the habits you then form, and ultimately, your destiny. Winners understand this intricate chain. They meticulously guard and cultivate their self-talk because they grasp its foundational, almost preemptive role in all these subsequent steps. They're acutely aware that an unmanaged, unchallenged inner dialogue can, and often will, sabotage even the most ambitious plans and well-intentioned efforts, often before they even begin to take tangible shape. It's the silent saboteur, or the secret ally, depending on how you wield it.
And here's the common, often destructive trap for so many of us. We become our own harshest, most relentless critic. We constantly feed ourselves narratives like, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, or I always mess things up. It's an astonishing double standard when you think about it. We would never ever speak to a cherished friend, a family member, or even a casual acquaintance with such brutal, undermining language. Yet, we inflict this profound self-limiting damage on ourselves day in and day out.
That observation raises an absolutely critical question about self-awareness and self-respect, doesn't it? As you rightly point out, we would rarely, if ever, use such demeaning language with anyone we care about or even with strangers. Yet many of us permit, even cultivate, this damaging internal monologue daily. Winners, by contrast, deliberately and meticulously program their minds with words of power, with affirmations of capability and resilience. They recognize their internal dialogue isn't merely background noise, it actively sets the tone for their external performance, their emotional state, their overall capacity for resilience. It's about taking active, conscious control of that internal narrative, transforming it from a source of sabotage into a powerful wellspring of support.
The audiobook doesn't just identify the problem. It details 5 powerful ways winners master their self-talk. First, winners strategically use affirmations. These aren't just empty platitudes. The source explains them as positive, intentional statements designed to literally train your mind to believe in possibility, to cultivate an internal conviction in your own capabilities. Think of Muhammad Ali's iconic declaration, "I am the greatest." He wasn't just boasting, he was meticulously programming his own mind for victory, imprinting that belief into his subconscious long before the rest of the world fully bought into it. For us, this might mean consistently repeating, "I am capable, I am resilient, I am becoming stronger every single day," with genuine conviction.
And crucially, the source points to the scientific backing behind this. Consistent, intentional, positive affirmations are shown to actively reduce stress, decrease anxiety, and significantly increase self-confidence. This isn't about instant blind belief, it's a deliberate practice of rewiring neural pathways over time. By consistently feeding your brain positive, empowering statements, you gradually strengthen those neural connections associated with self-efficacy and resilience, while simultaneously weakening those linked to self-doubt and fear. It's a form of mental conditioning, really, reinforcing beliefs that directly serve your highest goals and systematically helping you overcome deeply ingrained self-limiting narratives. Secondly, winners actively replace limiting beliefs. The source describes this as a proactive mental intervention. Every time a negative thought inevitably pops into your head, say, "I can't do this," winners don't passively accept it. Instead, they immediately challenge it. They ask themselves, is that really and truly factual? What evidence do I have to support that thought? Then they consciously replace that limiting narrative with something far more empowering, such as, "I may not know precisely how to do this yet, but I am resourceful and I am fully capable of learning."
This is a powerful demonstration of active mental intervention, transforming insidious doubt into unwavering determination by refusing to passively accept limiting narratives as absolute truths. It's a conscious, disciplined act of cognitive restructuring, intercepting those automatic negative thoughts, and deliberately redirecting your internal dialogue from a place of self-sabotage to one of expansive growth and boundless potential. It's the difference between being a passenger in your own mind and actively steering your internal conversation towards constructive outcomes. This requires vigilance, for sure, but the payoff is immense. Thirdly, winners consistently visualize success. The audiobook emphasizes a profound neurological truth. The human mind struggles to definitively differentiate between a vividly imagined experience and an actual real-world experience. This is why elite athletes engage in rigorous mental rehearsal, visualizing their flawless performance, seeing themselves crossing the finish line victorious, executing a perfect play. You can powerfully apply this by regularly seeing yourself succeeding in that upcoming presentation, confidently acing an exam, or vividly experiencing the achievement of your deepest dreams.
Indeed, the mind's fascinating inability to distinguish between vivid imagination and concrete reality is a powerful lever. This tool, visualization, effectively programs your brain and body, creating a mental blueprint for success. By repeatedly mentally rehearsing your desired outcomes, you build powerful neural pathways that make success feel far more inevitable. Your subsequent actions become more aligned, more confident, more intentional, because your brain has already, in a sense, experienced the successful outcome. It prepares your entire being to perform optimally when the moment of truth arrives, bridging the gap between desire and actualization.
Fourth, winners speak with profound intention. They meticulously curate their language, both internally and externally. This means consciously avoiding defeatist phrases that reinforce victimhood, such as, I'm so unlucky this always happens to me, or I never get a break.
Mm.
Instead, they deliberately choose strong, empowering language that reflects and builds a winning internal state. I am actively finding solutions. I'm learning immensely from this experience, or my time, my breakthrough is unequivocally coming.
Words, as the source eloquently puts it, carry a potent energy. And intentional language possesses the power to decisively shift your mindset from one of defeat and helplessness to one of boundless possibility and agency. It's about making conscious linguistic choices that not only reflect but actively reinforce winning internal state. This isn't just about semantics or superficial wordplay. It's about actively shaping your internal reality and, by extension, your external experience through the profound, often underestimated, power of your chosen words. It's a commitment to linguistic self-mastery.
And fifth, and this is a point that the source insists is often tragically overlooked, winners consistently practice self-compassion. After making a mistake or experiencing a setback, instead of descending into harsh self-criticism, telling themselves, I'm a complete failure, or I'm so stupid, they consciously choose a kinder, more supportive internal narrative. I made a mistake, and that's a valuable lesson, but I am unequivocally learning and growing.
Okay.
This isn't about letting yourself off the hook. It's about understanding that this profound kindness and acceptance towards oneself actually makes them stronger, more resilient, and more capable of sustained progress.
This emphasis on self-compassion is, as the source highlights, often the missing piece in many self-improvement journeys. Self-compassion doesn't, as some might mistakenly believe, make you weak or enable complacency. Rather, it makes you demonstrably stronger. It does so by conserving immense mental and emotional energy that would otherwise be severely wasted on debilitating guilt, crippling shame, or endless cycles of self-recrimination. By fostering an internal environment where learning from mistakes is not only possible but encouraged without the paralyzing fear of self-condemnation, it allows for sustained growth, greater psychological flexibility, and ultimately a more robust and enduring resilience in the face of life's inevitable imperfections.
Now, this is where the source makes it intensely practical for you, our listener. Grab a notebook if you can, or even just open a note app on your phone. First, write down maybe 3 to 5 common negative thoughts you frequently tell yourself. Then, directly next to each one, write a profoundly empowering, growth-oriented version. For instance, if your thought is, I'm not confident, transform it into, I am actively learning to grow my confidence every single day. Finally, secondly, the source challenges you. Stand in front of a mirror daily and speak just one powerful affirmation aloud with genuine conviction, looking yourself directly in the eye. Feels awkward at first, maybe, but powerful. So when we pull all these threads together, what this truly means is that champions aren't born with inherent, unshakable confidence. They meticulously train that inner voice, transforming it from a potential saboteur into their most powerful, unwavering ally.
The world, sadly, will offer you more than enough criticism and doubt. Your fundamental job, your core responsibility, is to be your own biggest, most ardent supporter, to cultivate that internal voice that consistently props you up, celebrates your efforts, and propels you forward, even when external validation is scarce. When you master your self-talk, when you consciously and intentionally shape that inner dialogue, you are, in essence, mastering your entire mindset. And in doing so, you unlock the full potential of your champion's life. This internal advocacy is a superpower that far too few truly harness.
The source then shifts our focus, making a compelling argument that no matter how robust your mindset or how disciplined your habits become, your environment, the people, the conversations, the physical spaces that surround you profoundly shapes your destiny. It harkens back to that ancient yet incredibly potent saying, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. This isn't just a quaint adage. It's presented as an undeniable, almost gravitational truth that impacts every aspect of your growth.
What's particularly fascinating here is the sheer level of active agency that winners take in meticulously curating their environment. They possess a deep, intuitive understanding that success is not solely an internal endeavor. It is, in fact, a powerful co-creation, a dynamic interplay with their immediate surroundings. The source uses a vivid analogy. Negative inputs, whether they are toxic relationships, cynical conversations, or overwhelming media, are likened to insidious holes in a boat. No matter how diligently you paddle, no matter how strong your internal resolve, these holes will relentlessly drain your energy, undermine your efforts, and eventually sink your vessel if left unaddressed. It's about proactive mental and emotional self-preservation.
The audiobook meticulously outlines 5 distinct ways winners intentionally build a supportive environment. First, and perhaps most critically, winners choose their circle wisely. They employ that powerful boat analogy, distinguishing between toxic people who are metaphorically drilling holes in their vessel and supportive individuals who are diligently helping them plug those holes and stay afloat. Winners, the source insists, simply do not waste their precious energy on chronic complainers, relentless gossips, or those individuals who consistently bring them down. They recognize the cost.
And this insight raises an incredibly important and sometimes difficult question about the deliberate protection of your vital energy and mental bandwidth. Winners, as the source clearly articulates, are not afraid to create necessary distance from relationships that no longer genuinely align with their evolving vision or higher purpose. Their focus is laser sharp, directed towards cultivating connections with dreamers, with doers, and with sincere encouragers, individuals who genuinely uplift, inspire, and challenge them constructively. This isn't about being exclusionary. It's about an intelligent act of self-preservation and a strategic commitment to fostering an ecosystem conducive to sustained growth.
Secondly, winners actively seek out mentors and role models. They understand that there's immense power in learning from those who have already walked the path they aspire to travel. This mentorship doesn't always have to be a direct formal relationship. It can be derived from absorbing the wisdom found in biographies, by listening intently to their stories on podcasts, or even by observing their principles and actions from afar. It's about leveraging accumulated wisdom.
Mentorship, whether it's direct one-on-one or gleaned indirectly through studying lives and works of inspiring figures, acts as an extraordinary accelerant for growth. It provides invaluable wisdom, offers crucial perspective, helps anticipate and navigate common pitfalls that might otherwise derail your journey. Winners are, at their core, perpetual students. They possess an insatiable hunger for absorbing lessons from those who have achieved what they aspire to. This significantly reduces the learning curve and allows them to stand on the shoulders of giants, propelling their own journey forward with greater speed and fewer detours.
Third, winners consciously create positive spaces. The source draws a direct and powerful link between external clutter and internal chaos. A cluttered, chaotic physical environment often leads to a similarly cluttered, chaotic mind. Winners pay meticulous attention to their surroundings, intentionally designing spaces that actively motivate and inspire them. This could manifest as a clean, organized desk that promotes focus, a strategically placed vision board serving as a constant visual reminder of their aspirations, or even simply curating uplifting music or ambient sounds that foster a productive and positive atmosphere.
Your physical environment, as the source profoundly argues, should serve as a constant positive reminder of your overarching goals and highest aspirations, actively sparking energy and focus rather than subtly draining it. Every element, from the artwork on your wall to the organization of your workspace, contributes to or detracts from your internal state. Even seemingly small changes, decluttering a countertop, adding a plant, choosing inspiring imagery, cumulatively contribute to creating a motivating atmosphere that silently but powerfully allies with your pursuit of success. It's about building a physical sanctuary for your ambition.
Fourth, and this extends beyond just interpersonal relationships, winners stringently limit negative inputs. This encompasses more than just people. It crucially includes the media and information you consume. This source provides a stark warning. If you spend hours endlessly scrolling through streams of negativity online, absorbing cynical news, or immersing yourself in discouraging narratives, your thoughts and emotions will inevitably become heavy, clouded, demotivated. Winners are incredibly selective, almost vigilant about what they permit to feed their minds.
This is a powerful call for selective feeding of the mind, an act of intellectual and emotional discernment. Winners stay adequately informed, understanding the importance of situational awareness, but they resolutely refuse to allow the incessant noise and negativity of the world to drown out their inner vision and purpose. It's an essential act of mental self-preservation, ensuring that their mental landscape remains fertile ground for positive growth, innovation, and resilience, rather than being choked by cynicism, despair, or constant distraction. They consciously guard their internal ecosystem.
And fifth, a truly profound aspect of a winning environment involves giving back. The source reveals that a winning environment isn't merely about what you receive from others. It's equally, if not more, about what you actively contribute. Champions understand the immense power of uplifting others, of generously sharing their encouragement, their hard-won knowledge, their unwavering hope. This reciprocal act amplifies the collective energy.
Success, as the source beautifully articulates, achieves its sweetest, most fulfilling flavor when it is genuinely shared. The act of helping others, of contributing to their growth and well-being, profoundly strengthens one's own sense of purpose, meaning, and connection. It actively fosters a community where everyone feels supported, where individuals are collectively striving to rise together. This reciprocal action creates a virtuous cycle of encouragement, shared aspiration, and collective achievement, fundamentally reinforcing the positive, growth-oriented environment for all involved. It's a powerful testament to the idea that true success is interconnected.
Here's where the source offers a profoundly insightful and actionable step for you right now. Take a moment to list the 5 people you spend the most significant amount of time with, those closest to you. For each name, honestly jot down how they make you feel when you're around them. Do they leave you feeling energized, inspired, uplifted? Or do you often feel drained, deflated, or even cynical after spending time with them? Be really honest. So what this deep dive into environment ultimately means is that you need to profoundly ask yourself if you need to strategically spend more time with certain individuals, consciously create distance from others, or actively seek out entirely new connections that align with your aspirations. Your environment, whether you consciously choose it or not, is either actively watering your dreams and helping them flourish, or insidiously poisoning them and causing them to wither.
Remember this critical truth. Not everyone in your life will cheer for your ambitions or even understand them. That's okay. But your fundamental job, your responsibility to yourself, is to meticulously surround yourself with those who genuinely do. No champion, no individual destined for greatness, truly climbs the mountain alone. They climb with the right, supportive, and empowering team. This discernment, this conscious curation of your circle is absolutely crucial for your long-term well-being, your sustained motivation, and your ultimate success.
Okay, bringing us towards the final pieces here. Every singular great achievement throughout history begins with a powerful, compelling vision. Winners are never simply drifting through life. They possess an unwavering clarity about precisely where they're going, they intimately understand why they're undertaking that journey, and they possess an inherent strategy for how they'll continuously move forward, regardless of what obstacles inevitably arise. The source makes it clear. Vision provides the overarching direction. Clearly defined goals give that vision tangible structure, and unwavering consistency is the indispensable engine that powers the entire journey to fruition.
What's truly fascinating here is the rigorous differentiation the source makes between a vague, ephemeral dream and a precisely articulated, compelling vision. A dream can be fleeting, right? A wish without a path. Vision, by contrast, is positioned as the deep-seated why, the profound emotional, intellectual purpose behind your aspirations. When this why is meticulously clear, it doesn't just make the how infinitely more manageable, it critically fuels your perseverance through seemingly insurmountable challenges. Without that crystal clear why, the inevitable difficulties and setbacks of any significant undertaking can all too easily derail progress, leading to frustration and abandonment. It's the profound anchor that holds you steady when things get tough.
It's the profound difference, as the source illustrates, between simply saying, I want to be successful, which is admirable, but, well, pretty ill-defined, right? And declaring with precise intention, I want to build a sustainable business that directly helps 1 million people achieve financial literacy, which in turn will provide me with the financial freedom and flexible time to fully engage with my family and pursue my passions. End quote. That level of specificity and emotional connection in your vision is what imbues it with its extraordinary magnetic power.
Precision in vision, as the source vehemently argues, is not merely advantageous, it is absolutely critical. A clearly articulated vision acts as an incredibly powerful, almost magnetic guiding light. It makes it, to quote the source, almost impossible to quit when you're confronted with daunting obstacles. Because you know with visceral clarity precisely what you are fighting for, what profound impact you are striving to create. It forges an internal compass that keeps you unwaveringly oriented towards your ultimate destination, even when the path ahead becomes obscured, fraught with difficulty, or when immediate gratification is absent. It transforms struggle into meaningful progress.
But, and the source emphasizes this crucial distinction, vision alone, no matter how inspiring or precise, is fundamentally insufficient. It's an indispensable starting point, but without tangible goals to order to life, it remains just a beautiful yet static dream. Goals are the essential stepping stones. They meticulously transform those grand, overarching visions into actionable, measurable steps, effectively breaking down what might initially seem impossible into manageable, digestible parts.
This is precisely where the SMART framework comes into play, a concept the source meticulously emphasizes as non-negotiable for anyone aspiring to achieve meaningful success. Goals, the audiobook asserts, need to be specific, defining precisely what you aim for, not get fit, but run a 10K race. Measurable, allowing you to track progress and know when you've succeeded. Achievable, challenging but realistically within reach. Relevant, directly aligning with your overarching vision. And time-bound, creating a crucial deadline for accountability. Winners, the source details, take this framework profoundly seriously. They transform vague desires like get healthier into concrete, actionable plans like exercise 30 minutes 5 times a week for 90 days. This extraordinary clarity, fostered by the SMART framework, cultivates profound accountability and meticulously breaks down the seemingly impossible into truly manageable steps. It makes the entire journey infinitely less daunting and significantly more attainable. The source explicitly warns that missing even one of these components often relegates a goal to the realm of a mere wish.
Now, this is where it truly gets profound and incredibly insightful, because the source points to the single biggest hurdle for most individuals. The vast majority of people, with good intentions, diligently set compelling goals, but they critically lack consistency. Initial motivation, that exciting surge of energy, it inevitably fades, right? And when it does, they simply stop. This, the audiobook argues, is the most common and devastating derailer of dreams.
The source delivers an absolutely critical truth here. Motivation is inherently temporary, it's a fleeting emotion. Consistency, however, is the unwavering force that creates tangible, lasting results. The compelling analogy of brushing your teeth 2 minutes daily, a habit ingrained rather than a frantic 2 hours once a month, perfectly illustrates how consistent, small-scale effort decisively beats sporadic, intense bursts of activity every single time. It's the quiet, daily, almost invisible acts that meticulously accumulate, building into significant, often monumental achievements. Relying solely on unpredictable bursts of motivation is an inherently unreliable strategy. Relying instead on ingrained discipline habits is the only proven path to sustained progress and ultimate mastery.
The audiobook offers a fantastic, widely known, yet profoundly effective method for cultivating this consistency, popularized by comedian Jerry Seinfeld. It's known as the don't break the chain method. Seinfeld's approach was elegantly simple. For his goal of joke writing, he would mark a large red X on a calendar for every day he completed his writing. His sole focus became simply not breaking the chain of X's. This method, the source argues, can be powerfully applied to virtually any area of consistent effort. Learning a new language like English, diligently building a business, mastering a new skill, adhering to health goals. It's very versatile.
Yeah, this don't break the chain method is a powerful, almost psychologically brilliant demonstration of how small, consistent progress meticulously compounds into massive, undeniable success. It doesn't rely on fluctuating feelings of motivation, it relies on discipline, which is significantly more reliable and sustainable. It actively builds a visible, tangible track record of your daily efforts, creating a positive feedback loop that reinforces the habit itself. It makes it progressively harder to stop once that momentum is gained. The visual progress on the calendar serves as both a motivator and a powerful reminder of your commitment, leveraging the psychological desire for completion and continuity.
So when we encapsulate these truths, what this ultimately means is that consistency doesn't imply an unrealistic standard of never failing, never missing a step. Not at all. Instead, it defines the champion's relentless commitment to quickly resetting after any setback, to immediately getting back on track, and to unequivocally keeping going.
Precisely. To summarize this powerful section, your vision vividly shows you the aspirational destination. Clearly defined goals provide the meticulously charted map for getting there. And unwavering consistency is the absolutely indispensable vehicle that powers your entire journey. Without all three of these foundational elements working in concert, your journey will inevitably stall, perhaps indefinitely. But with all three seamlessly integrated and consistently applied, you truly become an unstoppable force. They are an inseparable triumvirate for any significant, lasting achievement.
So for you, our dedicated listener, here's an immediate call to action from the source. Take some quiet time to write down your grand vision for the next 5 years of your life. Make it as vivid and specific as humanly possible. Then, with a clarity, break that vision down into actionable yearly milestones, then into monthly objectives, then into weekly tasks, and finally into daily manageable steps. And critically, make it a daily practice to ask yourself, what's just one small step I can take today right now that undeniably moves me closer to my overarching vision? Just one.
And remember the source's vital advice. Don't succumb to the pervasive trap of waiting for the perfect time to begin. That elusive moment simply does not exist. Winners understand that perfection is a mirage. Instead, they proactively create progress with the resources, the time, the energy they possess right now in this very moment. The true power resides not in some grand, flawless launch, but in the simple act of starting and in the unwavering, persistent commitment to continually take those small, consistent, forward-moving steps, day after day.
Wow. We've truly journeyed through an incredible landscape today, haven't we?
Yep.
Delving into the foundational power of the mind, dissecting the building blocks of winning habits, reframing how champions confront challenges, mastering that critical inner dialogue of self-talk, understanding the profound influence of your environment, and finally uniting all these elements with the indispensable combination of vision, goals, and unwavering consistency. Been a profound, often challenging, but ultimately, I think, empowering deep dive into what it genuinely means to think and, more importantly, live like a winner.
But here's the absolutely crucial, almost stark point that our source reiterates as its powerful conclusion. Knowledge without committed action is, quite simply, wasted potential. This deep dive isn't merely about intellectually understanding these principles, it's about viscerally living them, breathing them into your daily existence, consciously applying them every single day. The true transformative value of these insights does not stem from passive listening or conceptual understanding, but directly from consistent, diligent implementation. This is where transformation truly begins.
So as we conclude this exploration, What does this all mean, fundamentally, for you, our listener? What version of yourself do you choose to become from this very moment forward? Will you allow your precious days to simply slip by, passively waiting for external circumstances to align perfectly, for motivation to magically strike? Or will you decisively step into the mindset of a winner today, right now, with no more excuses and absolutely no hesitation? The empowering, life-altering choice is unequivocally yours in every moment you face.
Remember the core tenets we discussed. It's about consistent progress, not an unattainable, paralyzing perfection. It's about cultivating the discipline to show up and perform, even when you're profoundly tired or demotivated. It's about summoning the courage to try again immediately after every perceived failure. It's about steadfastly believing in yourself, particularly when others might not. And it's about never, ever giving up on that burning vision and purpose that resides deep within you. This persistent commitment, this unwavering resilience, even in the face of internal resistance and external pressure, is the indelible hallmark of a true champion.
To help you decisively begin, the source's powerful conclusion distills these insights into simple, yet profoundly impactful, daily calls to action. Firstly, start small, but make an absolute commitment to start today. Begin by writing down just one winning, empowering thought each morning. Secondly, commit to taking consistent action, no matter how tiny or seemingly insignificant that step might be. Thirdly, meticulously surround yourself with positivity. Actively protect your mental environment and consciously choose uplifting voices and influences. And finally, and crucially, learn to celebrate every increment of progress rather than obsessing over an elusive, perfect outcome.
And most importantly, and this is the ultimate empowering message, thinking like a winner is fundamentally a choice, a profound decision you make actively and consciously every single day. It is unequivocally available to anyone, including you, who makes the definitive decision that excuses and procrastination are over and purposeful, consistent action begins now. This demands taking ultimate personal responsibility for your mental state, your daily actions, and your long-term trajectory.
You are truly stronger than your deepest fears, significantly bigger than your most challenging setbacks, and capable of achieving far, far more than you currently realize. The only profound question that remains after this deep dive is, will you genuinely believe it within your core, and will you powerfully act on it?
The extraordinary life you dream of, the profound impact you envision, isn't passively waiting for someone else to claim it. It is waiting with unwavering patience for you. It awaits your decisive choice, your unshakable belief, and your consistent, determined action.
Go out there and win. Not someday, not tomorrow, not in some distant future, but profoundly today and every single day after.